In this video, we're going to walk through a coding solution to the classic lift state up React technical interview question. So let's jump in. Okay, so in this question, we are required to create a percentage controller made of two sibling sliders that both control one shared percentage number. The behavior, so we have to start with a value of 50%, and moving either slider must instantly update both thumbs and fill the horizontal bar. The UI structure and test IDs include each slider is an input with type range, and the first slider has a data test ID of slider 1 and the second a data test ID of slider 2. The bar, the outer wrapper, has a data test ID of bar, and the inner fill has a data test ID of bar fill with an inline style of width percentage. And as always, we just should leave the data test IDs alone as they are for testing purposes. So if I hop into the solution mode, you can see here if I drag this slider, if I drag one of them, it'll update both sliders as well as the percentage bar. And so if I exit solution mode, you can see pretty clearly here, if I update a slider, it only updates that slider. It does not touch the other slider's value, and it also doesn't update the thumb bar here. So our job, as always, again, is to have it so that they are both in sync. So in our app.js file, we have some basic Tailwind styling, and we are simply rendering the percentage controller component. If we look at the percentage controller here, we can see it has some percentage state at the top. We've got two sliders here. We've got the slider 1 and the slider 2, as well as the percentage bar. So if we look at the percentage bar first, again, super simple. It deconstructs percentage from its props, and again, it updates the width based on that percentage value. And then looking at the slider components, they have their own individual piece of state, value, and set value. And then very simply, we are rendering the value as a percentage there, and that is also being used as the value in the range input here. As we saw in the description, we want both sliders and the progress bar to be in sync regardless of which slider is moved. And so here, this is the lifting part up. So we're going to remove the state from the slider component and move it all up to the percentage controller component, as that is the level we will keep the state at, and then we'll simply pass it down to each of the children so that when that state changes, all of those components will re-render so that they will be in sync. So the first thing to do is to simply remove the value and set value from the slider components and then destructure that from the properties. So value, set value. So then obviously what we need to do is go back to our percentage controller. We have percentage. We also need to update that. So set percentage like so. And then again in our sliders, so we want value will be the percentage, and then the set value will simply be set percentage, and then we can simply repeat that for the other slider again, as they will have the exact same piece of state managing them. And then we're also sending in the percentage into the percentage bar. So if we look at the preview window, if I now drag any of the sliders, both sliders are updating as well as the thumb bar, as we have moved the state up from the slider component to that percentage controller component. And then if I run the tests, let's see if they pass. Perfect, both tests pass. If we run the test suite, let's see if all the tests pass. Perfect, they all pass. So as always, very simple question, but again, it ensures you know the fundamentals of state management and unidirectional data flow, which, in the moment can be kind of tough in an interview when an interviewer is staring at you. So if you want to try it out for yourself, the link to the question is in the description, and hopefully you got some value out of it. If you did, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. It helps the channel out a lot, and I will see you in the next one.